My name is Natalie Cross. I'm 33 years old. And until 6 months ago, I thought I understood what commitment looked like. I thought it was consistency, shared calendars, knowing what groceries to buy without asking, a future that felt steady enough to lean on without checking if it would collapse under your weight. I was engaged, 6 months in, together for 3 years. His name was Evan Marshall. We met through work, one of those connections that felt unremarkable at first. Same industry, same deadlines, same exhausted jokes over bad coffee. He was confident without being loud, attentive without being needy, the kind of man people described as safe and meant it as a compliment. We moved in together after a year. No drama, no breakups, no big red flags. I said yes when he proposed on our 3rd anniversary, at the restaurant where we'd had our first date. I cried. He cried. The waiter pretended not to notice. We posted the photos, told our families, started planning immediately. I believe we were aligned. 3 months into the engagement, we met with our wedding planner to go over logistics, guest lists, seating charts, timelines, the boring stuff, the real stuff. That's when I noticed Evan wasn't really there. He kept checking his phone, not urgently, just frequently, like someone waiting for something to happen. The planner was mid-sentence, explaining floral costs when she stopped speaking. Her pen slipped from her fingers and clattered against the table. "I'm sorry," she said quickly, reaching for it. "Go on." I didn't think much of it then. On the drive home, Evan was quiet. The silence stretched until it felt deliberate. "I've been thinking about the guest list," he said. "Okay," I replied, eyes on the road. "There's someone I want to invite." I waited. My ex. I tightened my grip on the steering wheel. "Your ex-girlfriend?" "Yes." I laughed once. Not because it was funny. Because my brain needed a second to catch up. "Why would you invite your ex to our wedding?" "For closure." That word again. Always said like it was self-explanatory. "I just need to see her one last time," he continued. "To prove I'm over it. To prove I'm making the right choice." "You need your ex at our wedding to prove that?" "I know it sounds weird." "It doesn't sound weird," I said quietly. "It is weird." He sighed, frustrated. "She moved on so easily, Natalie. Found someone new almost immediately. I need her to see that I'm happy, that I ended up okay." "So this is about winning?" "No, I mean, maybe a little, but not like that." I didn't respond. When we got home, he went straight to bed. I stayed up, staring at the ceiling, replaying every word. Closure. A word people use when they don't want to admit they're still standing in an open doorway. I didn't confront Evan the next morning. I wanted to. God, I wanted to sit him down at the kitchen table, slide his phone between us, and ask him to explain, slowly, why my future suddenly needed an audience from his past. But something in me hesitated. I've always been someone who observes before acting. It's not passive, it's strategic. When people feel safe, they reveal more than they intend to. So I watched. I watched the way Evan kissed my cheek before leaving for work. Quick, distracted, like muscle memory. I watched how he checked his phone when it buzzed, how his shoulders tightened just slightly before he unlocked the screen. Not enough to look guilty, enough to look invested. That afternoon, while he was at work, I did something I'd never done before. I went looking. Social media first. That's where people leave the most obvious footprints and assume no one will follow them. It took less than 5 minutes to find her. Lena Harper. Public profile. Confident smile. The kind of woman who looks comfortable in photos. Not posed, not trying too hard. Mid-30s. Stylish without being loud about it. And not single. Her boyfriend appeared in nearly every other post. Weekend trips. Coffee shops I recognized. Inside jokes in captions. They'd been together about a year, maybe a little more. Good for her, I thought, genuinely. Then I scrolled back. 2 months ago. There it was. A photo of her and her boyfriend at a vineyard. Evan's name sat right there beneath it. Liked. I clicked again. Another post, another like, then another. This wasn't accidental. This wasn't a stray tap while half asleep. This was attention. Consistent. Intentional. My stomach tightened. That night, Evan took a long shower, longer than usual. I sat on the bed, heart pounding, arguing with myself. Don't do this. You don't need to do this. If you trust him, you won't look. But trust isn't blind, it's informed. When I unlocked his phone, my hands were steady. That surprised me. I found the messages quickly. Nothing explicit, no flirting you could screenshot and point to. Just familiarity. How have you been? Crazy how long it's been. Do you ever think about how things ended? They'd started talking 3 weeks earlier. 3 weeks. while we were finalizing our guest list, while we were debating chicken versus fish, while he was falling asleep next to me every night. He had reached out first. I put the phone back exactly where I found it and sat there in silence, feeling something settle into place. This wasn't about closure. This was about reopening something he'd never fully closed. The next morning, I made a decision. Not to confront him. To accelerate. I called the wedding planner during my lunch break. "We need to move the date up," I said. She paused. "By how much?" 2 months. Silence. "That's very soon." "I know, family reasons." She hesitated, then softened. "We'll see what we can do." When I hung up, my heart was racing, not with fear, with clarity. The planner called me back an hour later. "I can make it work," she said carefully, "but it won't be easy. We'll have to rebook vendors, renegotiate timelines, pay rush fees. Some things may change." "That's fine," I replied. "I'll cover whatever it costs." Another pause, then gently, "Is everything okay?" "Yes," I said. And in a strange way, it was the truth. "It's important my grandfather is there. His health isn't great." "I understand," she said. "I'll start making calls." When I hung up, I felt something I hadn't felt in weeks. Control. That night, I told Evan over dinner. I waited until he'd taken a few bites, until the day had softened him. "We need to talk about the wedding." He looked up, fork frozen halfway to his mouth. "Okay?" "We're moving the date up." "What?" He blinked. "Why?" "My grandfather's health is declining. The doctor doesn't think he should wait until summer. I want him there." His expression shifted, surprise first, then something else. Relief. "Oh," he said slowly. "Yeah, of course. When?" "April 15th, 6 weeks." "That's soon." "I know." He leaned back, exhaled, rubbed his face like someone recalculating. Then he nodded. "If it's important to you, then yeah, we can do April." He didn't ask about the stress, or the cost, or the chaos. Less time, I realized. Less time for doubts to catch up. 2 days later, I ordered the invitations. All of them, including one extra. I addressed it carefully. Lena Harper and guest. I didn't send it to Evan's old address. I sent it to hers, the apartment I'd seen in photos, the one with the white balcony railing and the string lights she posted about last fall. Certified mail, signature required. I wanted it to be seen. I wanted questions. When I dropped it in the mailbox, my hands were shaking, not with guilt, with certainty. 2 weeks passed. Then Evan came home early one afternoon, face pale, jaw tight, eyes already accusing. "We need to talk," he said. "About what?" She called me. "Who?" "Lena," his voice cracked. "She's furious." I tilted my head. "Why?" "Someone sent a wedding invitation to her apartment. Her boyfriend opened it. He thinks I've been hiding things. He thinks I'm involved with you behind his back." I waited. "Were you?" I asked. "No, I mean, we talked, but it wasn't like that." "You talked while planning our wedding," I said evenly, "and didn't tell me." "That wasn't—" "And you wanted her at our wedding for closure." His hands trembled. "Did you send that invitation?" "I sent all the invitations," I said, including hers. "To her apartment, to her boyfriend?" "If she's coming to our wedding," I replied, "it seemed reasonable that everyone involved should know." His face twisted. "You did this on purpose." "I did exactly what you asked," I said quietly. "I invited your ex." Tears welled in his eyes. Real or performative, I couldn't tell. "You're trying to sabotage my relationships." "Only the ones you shouldn't be having," I said. He grabbed his jacket, slammed the door, and didn't come back that night. Evan stayed at his sister's place. He didn't text that night, or the next morning. When he finally did, it wasn't to ask how I was doing or to explain himself. It was a demand. "I'm not coming back until you apologize." I stared at the message for a long time. "Apologize for what?" I typed. "For going through my phone, for sending that invitation to her apartment, for not trusting me, for trying to control my relationships." I set the phone down without responding. Because there it was, the pivot, the rewrite. By the afternoon, the narrative had already spread beyond us. Friends started reaching out, some cautious, some blunt. "What happened? Why would you do that? That was kind of extreme, don't you think?" Extreme. Inviting an ex to a wedding for closure wasn't extreme. Messaging her in secret wasn't extreme. But exposing it was. That evening, Evan's sister, Maya, called me. We'd always gotten along. She was practical, observant, the kind of woman who listened before reacting. "I need to hear your side," she said, "because what Evan is saying doesn't add up." So I told her everything. The request, the messages, the likes, the invitation. Every detail, start to finish. She was quiet for a long time. Then she exhaled. "That's not the story he told." "What did he say?" "That you went through his phone for no reason, that you're insecure, that you're trying to isolate him from people who mattered before you. Did he mention he was talking to his ex while planning our wedding? No. Did he mention wanting her at our wedding for closure? He said she was just an old friend. I closed my eyes. He's rewriting it, I said. Yeah, Maya replied softly. I see that now. She paused. Natalie, wanting your ex at your wedding is not normal, and hiding contact like that? That's not okay. Thank you, I said. I thought I was losing my mind. You're not, she said firmly. You're protecting yourself. That night, Evan called. His voice was cold, measured, like he'd rehearsed. I think we should postpone the wedding. Postpone, I repeated. Or cancel? Postpone, he said quickly. Take time, go to counseling, rebuild trust. We were fine until you decided you needed closure from your ex at our wedding, I said. That's not fair. You're making this about her. Because it is about her. Silence. I just wanted to move on properly, he said. To close that chapter in a healthy way. You closed it when you proposed to me, I replied. Apparently that wasn't enough. The line went quiet. Then he said it. Maybe it wasn't. Those 3 words landed like glass. Then we're done, I said. What? His voice jumped. You can't just end this. I can, I said, and I am. He argued, he begged, he accused. I listened. Then I hung up. Stop. Part 5. The silence after. I canceled the wedding the next morning. Called the planner first, then the venue, then the caterer. I lost deposits, paid cancellation fees, answered polite, careful questions with polite, careful answers. We realized we weren't compatible, I said. We want different things. I didn't explain further. Evan came by once, while I was at work, to pick up his things. I came home to empty drawers, bare shelves, and a quiet that felt heavy but clean. 2 weeks later, I got a message request on social media. It was from Daniel Reed, Lena's boyfriend. Hi, I know this is probably weird, but could we talk? We met at a small coffee shop near my office. He looked tired, not angry, just disappointed. Thank you, he said after we sat down. For what? For sending that invitation. For letting me see what was actually happening. I frowned. I didn't mean to blow up your relationship. You didn't, he said. He did. He told me everything. How Evan had minimized it. How he'd said I was insecure. How he'd claimed the messages were nothing. But they weren't nothing, Daniel said. They were constant, emotional. He was still invested. Did you end it? I asked. Yes, he said without hesitation, that day. I nodded. You made the right call. So did you. A month later, I ran into Evan at the grocery store. He looked thinner, tired. We exchanged a brief, awkward greeting. I hope you got your closure, I said. He didn't answer. 3 months after that, Maya called me. He reached out to Lana again, she said. Tried to meet for coffee. It didn't go well. I wasn't surprised. She told him she'd moved on, that he complicated things, that whatever he thought he was chasing wasn't real. I felt nothing. 6 months have passed now. I'm dating someone new. Slowly, carefully. No rush, no ghosts. The planner emailed me last week. She refunded part of the deposit. In 20 years, she wrote, I've never seen someone ask to invite their ex to their wedding for closure. That's when I knew something was wrong. That was when she dropped her pen. Some people call what I did petty, but I don't regret it. Closure isn't inviting your past to witness your future. Closure is choosing to walk forward, even when someone else keeps looking back.